This is Agentic Wave, your gateway to the latest breakthroughs in AI, the tech that's transforming how we live, work, and create.
All right, let's talk about something big that just happened in California. They've passed a new law, Senate Bill 942, that is seriously going to change how we all interact with stuff online. It's basically a new rulebook for AI, and we're going to break down exactly what it means for you.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. Can you actually trust what you see online anymore? I mean, really? It's a question that's getting harder and harder to answer with a simple yes. And that's because the line between what's real and what's made by AI is getting fuzzier every single day. You know, it makes spotting those super convincing deepfakes or just plain old misinformation a real challenge. And that's the exact problem this new California law is trying to fix. Which brings us to what you could call the AI reality check. You know, with generative AI just exploding in popularity, it's become pretty clear that we need some new rules for the road. And California's answer to that is Senate Bill 942. You'll also hear it called the AI Transparency Act. It was signed into law in 2024, but it's not going to kick in until the beginning of 2026.
So what's the big idea here? Well, at its core, the goal is actually super simple and honestly pretty powerful. It's all about giving you, the person watching or listening, the tools to know for sure when a picture, a video, or even an audio clip was cooked up by an AI. It's all about transparency. Okay, so how is this new rulebook actually supposed to work in the real world? Well, the law sets up a few new disclosure tools. Basically, it's forcing the big AI companies to help us all spot AI-generated content. The whole thing really rests on three main pillars. First, these companies have to offer a free tool so you can check content yourself. Second, they have to provide something called a manifest disclosure. Think of that as a visible label. And third, they have to embed a latent disclosure, which is kind of like a hidden digital signature. So let's break those two types of disclosures down. On the one hand, you've got the manifest disclosure. This is a visible label, like a watermark, and it's optional for the creator to add. Then you have the latent disclosure. This one is mandatory, and it's hidden. The best way to think about it is like digital DNA that's woven into the file's code, and it's designed to be permanent, or at least, incredibly hard to get rid of. So what's actually inside that digital DNA? Well, the law calls it provenance data, and this isn't just a simple little tag, it's a full-on record. This hidden watermark has to include who made the AI, the name of the AI system, exactly when the content was created, and a unique ID. It creates this clear trail of breadcrumbs, right from the AI to your screen. Of course, a rulebook is only as good as its enforcement, right? You need to know who has to follow the rules and what happens if they break them. So who exactly is on the hook here? The law gets pretty specific, and it targets what it calls a covered provider. And that's just a legal speak for any person or company that builds a generative AI system and makes it available to the public. But, and this is a big but, there's a key threshold here. A company only counts as a covered provider if their AI tool has more than 1 million monthly users. So this isn't about the small indie developers. This law is aimed squarely at the big fish in the Gen AI pond. Now, the law is also really specific about who gets a pass, and this is crucial. It basically carves out the entertainment industry. So that means video games that aren't user-generated, TV shows, movies, streaming services. They don't have to play by these new disclosure rules. And what happens if you break the rules? Well, for the covered providers, the AI companies themselves, the fines are pretty steep. We're talking $5,000 per violation per day. Ouch. Now, for other companies that might license the AI and then mess with the watermarks, the penalty is different. They can get hit with a court order to stop what they're doing, and they'll have to pay the attorney's fees. Okay, so it's really important to understand that SB 942 didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's actually just one piece of a much bigger strategy California has for regulating artificial intelligence. And this slide really helps clear things up. See, there are two big AI laws in California. You have SB 942, the one we're talking about, which is all about transparency for you and me. Then you have this other one, SB 53, which is all about safety. It targets only the most powerful, cutting-edge AI models to prevent, catastrophic risks. So one is about transparency for the public, the other is about safety for the super powerful stuff. And this quote from Governor Gavin Newsom really just perfectly sums up what the state is trying to do here. Their whole philosophy is to find that sweet spot, right? To create some common sense rules that build public trust without crushing all the amazing innovation that's happening.
Okay, we've gone through all the details, the legal jargon, the whole shebang. But let's bring it back home. What does all of this actually mean for you when you're just scrolling through your feed? Here are the key takeaways. The bottom line is this. Starting in 2026, you're going to have free tools from the big AI companies to check if something is AI made. You're going to start seeing more clear made with AI labels out there. And behind the scenes, almost all AI-generated media is going to carry that hidden digital signature, tracing it back to where it came from. It's a huge first step toward a digital world that's just a little more transparent. And that really leaves us with this final, massive question to think about. As these AI systems just get more and more powerful and woven into every part of our lives, is a little bit of transparency going to be enough? Will it be enough to really build and maintain our trust? I guess that's something we're all going to find out together. Thanks for joining me.